Sonic amusement park and arcade plushes are kind of hit or miss. Whenever we get a new plush maker for amusement parks, it's not guaranteed if they're good or bad. But usually when it's bad, at least there's one good plush they made. But ToyNetwork? Nope. ToyNetwork is an American company that produced plushes for arcades, amusement parks, etc. And in the early 2000s, they were gifted the approval from Sega to make Sonic the Hedgehog plushes. But despite how bad they are, these were a part of many people's childhoods. And I gotta say, these are my favorite Sonic plushes from the 2000s, mainly because of how nostalgic they are. So in today's video, we will look at some of the plushes they made, and see if they're that bad. P.S. They are. So without further ado, let's start with our favorite blue lovable son of a bitch. Oh yeah, Sonic the Hedgehog? Jokes aside, this has to be the least strange one I've seen, which isn't saying much. But seriously, quality control is a big issue with these plushes. But hey, this looks pretty decent. A common thing with these plushes is their plastic eyes, which you should be careful of when you're looking for these plushes, because they might be a little scratched up. And I think ToyNetwork either solved that problem, or just trying to save money, because when they re-released these plushes for Sonic X, they replaced them for iron-on eyes, which in my opinion looks worse. The nose is a little more bear-like instead of being a slim nose, and the mouth, at least to me, looks like an arrow pointing up. His eyebrows are a little too big, but that's not really an issue. The ears aren't stuff, which causes the ears to mostly and always be pointing downward. Turning the plush around, we can see the head spikes, and surprisingly, they're all well made, which is a surprise after seeing the face. But the praising stops here. When we turn the plush back around, the head is kind of squished, and don't get me started on the forehead. The torso is a little long, which I guess would be okay if the chest was puffed out more to match the mini adventure artwork at the time. The arms are posed in an awkwardly hugging your fifth cousin that's weird and you never met before. Just me. The hands are well stitched, but the top of the gloves are a little long. Now the legs are not a separate piece from the body, so the plush can't really sit without it looking like he broke his legs. The shoes are well made, although the buckle is made out of a material that attracts dust, so I guess be careful with that. The back spikes are kind of shooting out, which looks weird, but the tail's good, so that's good. But overall, this plush is actually pretty good. I'm honestly kind of surprised how decent this is, and since we're looking at hedgehogs, let's look at a different one. Shadow the Hedgehog, quote-unquote Sonic's counterpart, is here and exists. This is definitely worse than Sonic. Why, you ask? Well, let's see. The muzzle is decent size, though it sinks just a little bit in the bottom. The nose is better than Sonic, though the mouth is not. At least kids can learn their 90-degree angles while they play with Shadow, so that's something. A common thing with these plushes has to do with the eyes. There's a little bit of a problem with the quality control with the eyes. Sometimes these plushes have bigger eyes, which doesn't fit that plush since there's different sizes, and sometimes a big plush has smaller eyes. But that's not important because sometimes they glue these at an angle. The ears are kind of weird since one side is lighter than the other. I do think it's due to age, but at the same time I don't really know. The top head spikes are good, but the bottom ones aren't. They for some reason go down, so it's strange when you look at it from the back. But hey, it's the front that matters, right? The chest fur is iron-on, which kind of reminds me of the SA2 plush. The hands are decently well made and accurate, and the shoes are probably the only good part of this plush. I have to say it again, but it reminds me of the SA2 plush. But these are absolutely amazing, and that's overall it for Shadow. A pretty decent plush, though I do think Sonic is better. Now before I forget, I wanted to mention the size of the plush I have, since these guys come in different sizes. Sonic is 18 inches along with Shadow, so now we got that out of the way. We can move on to the next plush. Let's go. Tails the Fox, Sonic's friend and sidekick, an important character within the franchise. So, does he get a good plush? What do you think? I present the ToyNetwork Tails. Ew. Okay, real talk, this plush isn't that bad. It's just the eyes. The deeply thousand-yard stare that's looking into my soul. It can see my fears. What? The mouth finally looks like, you know, a mouth. The fur on the sides are good, but the top part is to the head, instead of the muzzle. The eyes, like I said earlier, have a thousand-yard stare, which causes this plush to look terrifying. Speaking of the eyes, when I got him, it had scratches on them, so I did the most normal thing anybody would do. I colored it in with a Sharpie. Not the most effective way to do it, but it still works. The forehead fur is not great. It's pretty flimsy and smaller. The ears are good size, but the gray inner detail is a little too big, but it's still good. Unlike Shadow, Tails' chest fur is not iron-on, but it's actual fabric, and this is separate from the body. But now I want to talk about the arms, but mainly how they're attached. The left arm is fine, but the right arm mostly goes up and down. The hands are well made, but thanks to the right arm, the fingers are faced towards the front, which looks weird. Like here, let me demonstrate. The shoes are amazing, but they're really big, but it's still okay. Lastly is the tails, and they're alright. They're kind of shaped like triangles, but they're still pretty good. But overall, a pretty okay plush. And the size of the one I have is 14 inches. With that done, let's move on. Knuckles the Enchilada, once an enemy of Sonic, now a friend. So you think he would have a good plush, right? Well, ToyNetwork had a good job doing that. This is, in my opinion, the best one out of any of the plushes they made. I mean, just look at it. Most Knuckles plushes have a more circle-like head, which is fine, but Knuckles' head is more of an oval shape than a circle. What I'm trying to say is, Knuckles has a long head, but fortunately, this plush is one of the few to do it right. And speaking of the head, his dreads are well made too, though the ends of the dreads are unstuffed. But I don't know, to me, it looks kinda good. The facial expression is perfect. The nose is decently sized. The mouth is now ironed on, which looks better. And the eyes are the right size. The crescent moon shape is shaped well, and the torso is small. And also forgot to mention the head is kind of heavy. So due to the torso's size, the head is very loose, but despite that, it doesn't take anything away from this plush. The hands are pretty decent, though the knuckles are a little small. And by a little, I mean a lot. And the fingers, I guess that's what I call them, are just flat with a stitching line showing they're there. The legs are ultimately the worst part about this plush. Due to how they're attached, they go inwards, which causes the legs to move, what is this? Despite the legs, the shoes are actually good. The shoes seem to be the only consistent good thing about these plushes. Now the final thing is the tail, and it's done very well. But overall, this Knuckles plush is amazing, or exquisite, despite some of the odd design choices. And the plush I have is 14 inches. So with that, let's move on to yet another hedgehog. Amy Rose, quote-unquote Sonic's girlfriend, has been with the franchise pretty much since the start. So does she get a good What happened? Okay, I know. Mine looks bad, but a lot of them don't. So I hope you don't mind that I look at pictures that look better. I actually mind. Oh, no! Whoa, that was rude. Anyway, this has to be the better quality-wise plush in the set. Like, I genuinely had a hard time looking for one that looked bad. Then I just turn around and the head is shaped perfectly. And just like the other plushes except Sonic, the ears are stuffed. Her bangs are pretty much like tails, but here they're more sturdy. Her hair clip thing is separate from the body, being held down by 3 stitches. It looks like a hot dog. The black outlines have to be the worst thing about the face and just the head. It is really big. It makes it look like eyebrows. But moving down to the body, we can see yet another flaw. This white necklace thing is not supposed to be a necklace. It's supposed to be part of the dress, but for whatever reason they put it there. Speaking of the dress, it's decent enough when it comes to Amy plushes, though the hands don't help this plush either, since the middle finger, for whatever reason, is bigger than the rest. I mean, it looks like she got stung by a bee. The shoes are the only consistent thing that's good about these plushes, and for this plush it's pretty good, mainly due to the shape of the shoe and how it looks very accurate to the character. But sadly, that's pretty much it for this plush. If you couldn't tell already, I don't really like this plush compared to the other, I guess, better plushes we looked at. And for people who want to know, I have the 12-inch plush. We still have 2 left, so let's see if they improve. It's ToyNetwork, of course they're not going to improve. The second to last plush is without a doubt has to be a contender for the worst Sonic plush ever. And that's saying something since we live in the world with this. So the character in question is Eggman, and it looks bad. But can you really blame it? I mean, it's the second modern Eggman plush ever made. Wait, yes I can, because we nailed it perfectly the first time with the Sega Prize SA1 plush. That was, if you didn't know, was made for UFO catchers, which are claw machines. Yeah, ToyNetwork, you're on thin ice, buddy. Obviously I'm joking, but still this plush is bad. The face is very weird looking, but that's probably because the mustache is below the nose. You know, I thought I was making a good point, and then I realized mustaches grow under your nose. So, yeah. So we get to see Eggman's bold face in all its glory, though the face is the only thing causing this plush to be bad, since the body is the better part of the plush. All the details seem to be printed on, but the ends of the sleeves aren't. But overall, the jacket is, well, I guess I'll say well made. The lower half of the body is pretty normal overall. The shoes look very accurate as normal, and that's pretty much it. There's not really a lot to say about this, just that the face, you know, looks terrible. Though there is one more thing before we move on. I don't know if it was just me, but a few months ago, I didn't see a single listing of this plush. But now, if you type it in on Google, you can see several listings. I don't know, just thought that was weird. So I guess we have one more plush. So with that, let's move on. I saved the best for last, because it's everybody's favorite lovable character, and is the best character within the franchise. It's Big the Cat. Boo! This has to be one of the strangest Sonic plushes I've ever seen. I mean, just... what? The face is a little weird. I think it's due to the eyes being big, no pun intended. And this is the only plush to have a plastic nose. Now there's something that makes this plush weird, and it's the fact that some of the parts are made of a velvet-like material, like most of the purple and some of the black parts. I'm not saying it's bad, just that it's kinda strange. Turning the plush around, we can see the back of the head, and it's really well made actually. The, I guess, hair is stuffed and shaped well. Now let's turn the plush back around, and it gets stranger. The torso is pretty normal, despite the belt being made out of a weird material. I'm pretty sure it's the material that breaks over time. Though what makes this plush strange is the arms. Here, let me show you this artwork. You see how evenly the blacks and purples are spaced out? Okay, now let's look back at the plush. You see it? Most of the arm is black with there being little purple. I mean, it looks like he has a robotic arm. Anyway, moving down just a little bit is the shoes, or sandals. The sandals are pretty decent, though the feet for whatever reason are blue. What? And it wouldn't be big if he didn't have his fishing pole. It's pretty okay, nothing outstanding. And the bait is 2 pieces glued together, with the details being printed on. But overall, this is a pretty okay big plush. You know what? It's actually good. Would recommend this to any Big the Cat fans, if there's any out there. ToyNetwork is without a doubt a strange part of Sonic merch history, though despite the 7 characters they made. I would have honestly loved to see them make more, like E102 Gamma or Supersonic, but either way, ToyNetwork had a pretty okay run. If you guys made it to this part of the video, then thank you guys so much for watching. I do apologize for the video taking a while, but I hope you guys enjoyed. The next video is probably gonna take longer, since I'm planning for it to be the biggest video I've made, and I hope you guys stick around to see it. And since it might take a while, here's a sneak peek. Well, I guess I'll see you guys next time. So have a great rest of the day, and goodbye.